Super-curricular reading is all about going beyond the confines and the limits of the A-level specifications. You may need to go the extra mile to find the best resources. My favourite shortcut will be into a second-hand bookshop where you're likely to find material at the right level that's not been converted previously into PDFs and is therefore not available to other people. And this will enable you to say things that are unique to you, and it will enable you to pleasantly surprise the admissions tutors, showcase your academic potential, and win you the offer at interview.
So a lot of students need to really fire themselves up or engage themselves when it comes to these specific Oxbridge topics. So what I'd like to ask you, Peter, on behalf of the students, is why should we be engaging in super-curricular reading?
It's a great way to showcase your edges. It's a great way to get ahead of the field and get noticed. The super-curricular arena will fill you with depth that other applicants won't have. You'll be able to build islands of knowledge, and those islands will over time build into an archipelago. And if you can showcase that during the interview, the admissions tutors will notice your work ethic, what you've already done, and your potential, what you're likely to be able to do with their assistance.
And starting early, I know, is one of the primary edges. Can you just point out how starting early interfaces with super-curricular reading?
Well, one book opens another. It's not that you'll go into the second-hand bookshop with a mentor. The mentor will point you to one book that solves all your problems. The first book that you are gifted may accelerate you and push you onto the correct trajectory, but it's highly likely that after reading that book, you'll be inspired to read the next book and the next book. The interface with Start Early is that you don't want to run out of time. As you get to October, November, you'll be under the demands of college and you won't have time to read whole books. If you start in June or earlier, you'll be able to plot your revision timetable, position key texts throughout the months of the summer, and arrive at a much deeper understanding of your target subject.
And just, if you could, give the students some insight maybe from your time at Oxford as to how super-curricular reading is important when it comes to using beautiful libraries like the Bodleian.
It's an amazing facility, the Bodleian, because you can go in there with your precious reader's card. By the way, a reader's card that lasts 10 years after you graduate. But if you go there as an undergraduate, you can fill out a list of books that you require, and the next morning you can return and somebody will have squirreled into the archives and found the books that you require. We refer to them as the stacks of books, and the books will be there, and you'll be able to then go to a designated desk in the Bodleian and you'll be able to work through the material in the order that you want. So the delay of finding the books yourself is removed. It would be wonderful, wouldn't it, if we could do that in an ordinary municipal environment or in a sixth form college library. I imagine we don't have sufficient staffing levels in a college library to facilitate that. So one of the gains, one of the wins of getting into Oxford or Cambridge is that you get that kind of support on your journey toward academic excellence.
So could you give the audience an example of a student who understood why super-curricular reading was so important?
I had a student 2 years ago who was applying to Cambridge for Classics, and we in an early meeting had a discussion about the importance of the Rosetta Stone. And the student impressed me because she read within a week the book that I gave her to begin our discussion. And in a tutorial at the end of that week, she was able to give a fine 6-minute presentation. Then the second week, we changed tack slightly. We didn't move away from the topic of the Rosetta Stone, but we pivoted away from a historical perspective in the direction of cryptography. And we were able to, in that environment, look at the nature of code breaking and code cracking. Then in the third week, we were able to move back in a more historical direction and look at the Napoleonic army that uncovered the Rosetta Stone in Egypt. Then we moved on to looking at the contributions of Champollion and the English polymath who gave us Young's modulus, Thomas Young. The two of them both made independent contributions, but it was the synergy and Champellion's understanding of Young's work that caused the breakthrough. And so over a period of 5 weeks, we were able to build up an island of knowledge in her that was impressive. And she deployed that in one of her interviews, and she achieved an offer, and she's now at Cambridge studying classics.
So when we think about why super-curricular reading, just to re-emphasize, you said that we'd say things that are unexpected. You'd say things that nobody else would say. I've heard you underpin many times that it helps to build a work ethic, and also it helps to demonstrate the academic potential to yourself, to the Oxbridge Admissions Board, and also to other people, be it your sixth form college tutors or your parents or your peers. Is there any other reasons why super-curricular reading is vitally important in terms of the Oxbridge admissions?
Well, super-curricular reading done properly in the summer holiday can alleviate a lot of the pressure, the upcoming pressure of the autumn term. If your course tutors, your teachers realise that you've done extensive work in the summer holiday, they're likely to negotiate with you in a different, more amenable way over the delaying of deadlines. And similarly, alongside the super-curricular, I would encourage students to read ahead in their Year 13 work so that they bring that to the table at the beginning of the most intense term of all, the term where you'll go for the offer. That is the term where you're going to need as much space as possible. So super-curricular is the key to the summer, and the right super-curricular trajectory always pays massive dividends.
So I'd just like to thank Peter on behalf of all the observers and the listeners, and we're going to now move to studying and understanding another part of the super-curricular reading.